That's where we are.
Damn, feeling lucky. How about most streets?
This is Palm Springs.
Caught up in these talks. Circling my
A big Hollywood clique lived in Palm Springs, including this one.
many. I've been here before. Many.
Palm Springs is about 2 hours east of Venice Beach. This is the movie colony in Palm Springs. They had a rule in Hollywood that you could only live 2 hours away from the studios. 2-hour rule was one of the big things that transformed Palm Springs into a desert highway for Hollywood stars. It wasn't just a getaway, it was an oasis in the desert. The stars found a place to relax, recharge, and sometimes reinvent themselves. This was a mid-century playground for the biggest stars in the world. The Rat Pack, Bob Hope, Marilyn Monroe, Elvis, Sinatra, and so many more. And when the Jack Daniels flew over Sinatra's home, the Twin Palms, everyone knew Sinatra was in town, and it was big thumbs up for a big piss up. Elvis did plan to marry her, but when media closed in, he'd choose Vegas and then return to his striking mid-century modern home for his honeymoon in Palm Springs with Priscilla. Mid-century homes helped define the desert aesthetic in the post-war era, but also had deep ties to Hollywood modernism and escape from the fast-paced urban life of old Los Angeles. So this is Frank Sinatra's house in Palm Springs. 1947 he bought this for $150,000. Believe you me, it's not that anymore. Nearly 80 years ago, these mid-century houses went from $150,000 to $2.5 million in 2025. Palm Springs has really grown up to a population of around 40,000. When the Rat Pack held court in Palm Springs, there was only about 7,000 locals. Today, stars like Leonardo DiCaprio are sharing the spotlight with over 500,000 people across the Coachella Valley, with nearly 50,000 living in Palm Springs. It's no longer just a hideaway, it's become a real destination. As we head 50 miles northeast out of Coachella Valley, passing through Desert Hot Springs and Yucca Valley, the landscape opens up, revealing the stark beauty of California's high desert. The road widens deeper until it leads us to a desert-worn outpost on the edge of Mojave, called 29 Palms. This is the Joshua Tree. "30,000 people live in 29 Palms, a lot of them military. The biggest marine corps in the world is situated here. It's 1,000 square miles with an elevation of nearly 2,000 feet, with 20,000 active Marine soldiers and their families are stationed here. In 1942, the biggest Marine base rose up in the remote southern Californian desert to train military forces to fight in urban and desert environments. Talking to the neighbours and they were telling me about bombs being detonated underground, playing war games. This is about the size of LA and San Diego combined. There are actually 7 separate mock cities, each the size of downtown San Diego, spread across 274 acres of desert. The desert had ideal conditions for troops that had respiratory problems as a result of combat. It moved after the First World War when a lot of people were predisposed to mustard gas and developed TB. The desert isn't the cure, but for those who struggle with breathing, this can be a sanctuary. There's something about the desert that just pulls me in, the beauty of the desert. It's a rich canvas for sculptures to photography, land art installations and paintings. This drew artists from all over the world, including Jimmy Cagney. A lot of the Hollywood clique came to the desert, not just Palm Springs, but 29 Palms. One of them was Jimmy Cagney.
you dirty rat.
Jimmy Cagney came up to 29 Palms. His retreat home was actually here in the desert to get away from the hustle and bustle of the big city. Cagney attended art receptions and gatherings at 29 Palms before he headed down to the inn where he played piano and enjoying cocktails while he entertained guests. Cagney owned a sprawling ranch in 29 Palms during the 1940s and 1950s, using it as a desert escape from Hollywood. But today his house lies empty and desolate as a symbol to his connection to the area. MGM movie actress and American swimming star Esther Williams, who became known for her films in the 40s to early 1950s, lived here and learned how to ride horses here. To prepare her for the Western-style movies at 29 Palms, U2's visit to 29 Palms in 1986 is a chapter in the band's history, particularly for fans of the Joshua Tree. They say the album broke the band into global stardom, and arguably they put the desert on the map. I find it really hard to believe that they came all the way out here to take a photograph. I mean, the album is shy. I have to say, the desert, amazing, unbelievable. This environment is not sustainable for human habitation. Despite that, the population of this area has grown fivefold since Sinatra's time. In general, by and large, the desert hasn't changed, but it's not what it used to be, with highways and more traffic, power lines, wind turbines, big box retail stores and sprawling cities. There is one place that hasn't changed over the 70 years, and that's Pioneer Town. Pioneer Town, an unincorporated town beside Palm Springs in California. It is an 1880s style town just outside Joshua Tree. Pioneer Town looks like an old West movie set, because it was. Built by Hollywood in the 40s, movies like Riders in the Sky and The Cisco Kid were shot here, with big Hollywood stars like Gene Autry and Roy Rogers. For the locals, this isn't just a backdrop for movies, it's a home for 400 people. But the residents have voiced concerns over Instagram-driven tourism and newcomers. Why? Because Pioneer Town isn't for sale. It's a living, breathing community, not a lifestyle brand. When I was being brought up and raised in Dublin, I was just on a diet of cowboy and western movies. And of course, I always wondered where these places were, and this is one of them, the Pioneer Town. Yeah, I can only imagine getting lost out here. Freaky, no water, cold, heat, everything, snakes. Crazy to think that animals can live, never mind human beings, in this environment. Think about how they navigate for food and water. Despite economic growth, military deployment, tourism and desert towns and cities, there's an ecosystem that survives against all the odds in Joshua Tree. The desert may look still, but it's alive, with bighorn sheep, jackrabbits, coyotes and over 250 species of birds. Many desert animals are nocturnal to avoid daytime heat, optimising efficiency and water conservation. Pictographs tell us people gathered here and hunted and camped. So you would think the desert is not sustainable for human habitation, and really it's not. You would die out here with no water, but people did live out here. They did sustain it. I mean, they hunted and gathered. They found caves where there was shelter, away from the grinding heat. For thousands of years, Native American tribes like the Serrano and Kuya called the Joshua Tree region home. They lived in harmony with this harsh desert landscape, gathering seeds, roots and berries from native plants, hunting game and using the Joshua Tree itself for tools, food and shelter. Their knowledge of the land was deep and precise, passed down through generations. Today, their cultural legacy remains embedded in the desert, reminding us that this place is more than a backdrop, it's a living homeland.